Greetings and salutations. We welcome you on this hump day. On your lunchtime break, I hope you're eating something good, to the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce radio show Black to Business. And I'm sitting today with a man who I know needs no introduction, who normally walks into the room and the room be like, hey, what's up, friend? So as I sit here today, I not only sit with my friend, who is also a friend of the chamber, but also a homegrown New Orleanian and a man of many languages, but I know one he speaks for sure, and I say for sure, and that's Nightwalk. Yeah. So I'm sitting here, and I do not have to introduce or present, but I'm sitting with none other than the city councilman of New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans East in particular, my friend, my brother, Councilman Oliver Thomas. Brother Thomas, can you tell the listening audience, who is Oliver Thomas?
I think you just told everybody who I was. First of all, Mr. Smith, thank you for your leadership with the Black Chamber. Black Chamber is important. African-American advocacy groups and activists now, whether it's economics, education, housing, standard social services, we need you. Economically, the Black community is falling behind. We started falling behind in a real big way post-Katrina.
Right.
And in the middle of the Landry administration. So what y'all do economically is just as important as the Chamber of Commerce, the Business Council, or Greater New Orleans Inc. I mean, you said I'm a little red, little Nightwalk boy who loves this city. I'm a product of a lot of people's prayers, people who invested in me and thought of me when I wasn't thinking about myself.
Right.
And I'm New Orleans to the bone, you know, and love this city. A lot of people don't love me because maybe they haven't heard enough or suffered enough to know what it's like, you know, to forgive or let go. But Oliver Sr. and Mionette Egana Thomas were my parents. My sister and I, Nettie, are the only two left of 5 kids.
Okay.
I lost my son, oldest son, several years ago. God gifted me with another son, 9-year-old little Oliver. BJ is in heaven. My older sister, Leah, got my 2 grandkids, my wife, Jasmine, and my other daughter, Willow. So
Okay.
I'm blessed.
So with all that being said, Brother Oliver, and man, and I'm going to have to ask, you know, because it's one of the questions that talks about the ups and downs. So can you tell us about the ups and downs, and as you just alluded to, the hurts that you've had, but also tell us about the triumphs and what turns that pain and that suffering into joy.
Well, first of all, I mean, you know, I lecture and I speak to groups all over this country, around the world. I've been fortunate enough. I've learned enough, been through enough, and have enough skill set where I love speaking and encouraging groups. And one of the things I always tell people, if you haven't been hungry, you don't really understand how good food tastes.
Right.
If you ain't never been thirsty, you know, you don't understand the importance of that drink or that water. If you ain't never been locked up or had your freedom in question, you don't understand how precious freedom is. If you ain't never been homeless or worried about where to live, you don't understand the sanctity and the importance of a house. But those things are stepping stones. My father taught us a long time ago that pain can lead to joy when you understand the pain and you correct it. That in the midst of when things are real bad, there's opportunity. I never forget he used to say, he asked me and my brother one time, when you see a poor community, what do you see? We said, man, a lot of poverty and a lot of despair. He said, when I see a poor community, I know a few people doing real well.
Right.
Because they've drained it of its resources and its humanity. So what you need to see is opportunity. So whenever I see despair, whenever I've made a mistake, I didn't lose, I learned, you know. So, and I've been from prison to losing relationships, to burying, from my son to the very people, my brother, my dad, 2 sisters, my mom, the last few years, to the people I love, but I celebrate the joy of the memories and the opportunity to do better.
Right, right. Okay. You know, I often speak of the resilience of a New Orleanian.
Yeah,
You know, because we've been
we be
through
there.
slavery, we've been through Jim
Yeah.
Crow, we've been through
Malaria, the
hurricanes,
floods of
everything.
1927,
Yeah, everything.
all of those things.
But and in the words of Maya Angelou, still we rise.
Still we rise.
And we've always risen.
Yeah, Brother Smith, man, Chairman Smith, you know, that's been one of the things that if I could just share with our homeboys and homegirls here, you know, this is one of the few places where we lead with the negative, right? And maybe because we've been so much, but we're some remarkable people, man. I don't think anybody knows how to survive better than a New Orleanian, not a New Yorker,
Right.
not a Chicago, not a South Central in L.A. We some glorious Grammy people, right? Culture and our tradition, we've always known how to make a way out of no way. But it's convincing ourselves that we're powerful and we're important. I got friends I played ball with from the Bronx, Fort Apache, from South Central, and they talk about it with so much more pride. You know, when I visited those places, I was like, man, New Orleans way better than this,
Right.
even with all our struggles.
Yeah.
But we usually lead with a negative here. And hopefully we'll have a generation. I've tried to change that, and hopefully we'll change it.
Okay. So, and since you brought it up, and that's one of the questions, tell us about your sports career. Because I don't think most people know that you were
Yeah, Mid-All District, played on the National AAU team. The team that I played on with Wendell Ned and Robert Lipton and Haywood Hewitt, Evan Robinson, and Carlos Zuniga, D1, you know, and I was good enough. Raymond Gordon, Nat Franklin. We got a national championship medal, man. We played against the Bernard Kings in the world and Moses Malone's team and some of the top folk, and we were good. It got me a chance to go to college to pay for my education. My father told me a long time ago, he says, I don't have no trust fund, so I trust you have some funds. Or you be real smart, or you learn how to run, throw, dribble, kick, tackle, or hit something. So even though I was pretty good in school, athletics, we got some good survivors here, but in New Orleans, we got some great athletes too.
Yes, sir. So, if you want to be a part of the conversation, or if you have some questions you want to ask, you can dial in at 504-582-9422. Now, I expect for the phone lines to be lighting up, because I know all of y'all have something to say, or may have a question to ask, or just may want to be a part of this conversation. So let's continue to dive into it. So, Brother Thomas, why did you run for mayor of the city of New Orleans?
I was the only person in history of the city to serve 3 positions on the city council. I had accomplished that. And what I know about how the city charter operates and how government functions, if I really wanted to impact my community, change the stereotype of the East and under-resourced communities, especially the ones I learned from the late Dr. Peter Dangerfield study on object poverty, which Thelma French and them have at TCA. Everyone should be a student of it here in leadership.
Right.
I knew that the only way to impact where resources went and our people were dealt was to run for mayor. And I had made up my mind that that's what I wanted to do. I'm never afraid to win or lose, you know. And like I say, if you lose, you learn. Right. You compete. Now, I ain't celebrate like some folk. I don't celebrate coming in second, or third. There wasn't no celebration to me. I got my ass kicked. But what it did was it was an opportunity for me to compete, and I competed. And then lo and behold, we got elected officials quoting me now about how right I was about the budget. They're using all the information that I set out a year ago. But hey, man, you know, I went back to work. I think there was a week that I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I was like, man, I had never lost an election before, and it's somebody who competes, you know. And then I started to study the voting patterns and study what went down, and then I figured out that the election was actually done before it started. But I still enjoyed offering my ideas. People seemed to know that I knew what I was talking about.
Right.
But I couldn't overcome with a large portion of the population. They never forgave me, and we found that out afterwards. They never forgave me for the mistake I made when I went to prison. People complimented me. They came out to talk to me. They gave me a check. But the outgoing surveys and the conversations I've had, a large portion of the population never forgave me because I went to prison.
Gotcha. So when did your political career begin?
I started volunteering. Ken Carter and M.R. Venable knew my dad and my Uncle Clarence Thomas, and they were friends with them. And I would come home, and I would, M.R. and Ken would kind of take me out to eat, and we would be together sometimes, dinner, evenings with my dad, my uncle. And so when I decided to come back home, my mother and father didn't want me just hanging around the night ward with some of my family members and friends who were different. And they wanted me to at least be constructive in my time. So Ken advised me to start volunteering politically, just to have stuff to do on the weekends, go to meetings, pass out flyers. And I used to love walking through the project talking to people, And they said, man, I said, no, I don't mind. That's where we come from, right? So I would tell people, man, put the guns and the needles down. Let me tell you about this issue, right?
Right.
And I enjoyed it. And people were watching. And then there were people who were watching how comfortable I was in my community, and they recommended me to Jim Singleton. Ken Carter called my dad, and he said, one of Oliver's AAU teammates' father is Jim Singleton, Slim Singy, Jim. He said he's got an opening in his office. If your son's interested. Because I wasn't planning on staying home because I had always, and I've said this before, so I'll be transparent with it. New Orleans is one of the most difficult places for a young black man to grow up. We're a very small city that average 200, 300, 400 murders a year. That's insane. Where unemployment for black men, we knew before the report that it was 50, 55, 60% at times for young black men.
Right.
So for me, it was a pass-through, and I didn't think the city would embrace. Even the little red, light-skinned boy from the night ward, it was difficult for us and a lot of my friends. So when I started to experience the world, I thought it was easier other places. But when I interviewed with Singleton, he took a chance on me. He gave me a job. And I never left. The rest is history.
Okay, cool. So what's next for Oliver Thomas?
Hopefully I'll get some water while I'm coughing. What's next? Until the middle of January, I'm going to keep grinding and working.
Okay.
I was just on CNN, dealing with this federal government with these roundups. Look, immigration policy that, I helped pass the law that you can't discriminate against ex offenders for housing and jobs anymore. I got my after school program. I'm going to keep doing those things, mentoring young brothers. Went to a meeting with Brother Willie Muhammad and several other brothers a few weeks ago about this men's movement that we're starting throughout the country again.
Okay.
Black Men Matter. We're learning now. The CNBC report in February 2024 said black men and boys are missing from the nation's economy. So if black men and boys are missing from the nation's economy, why are you surprised when they show up in your driveway? at the gas station in your car, or trying to get through your window, and you better make it right. But if they're being pushed out of the economy, and this is an important for people who are listening, the Brookings Institute, a commission that Kamala Harris and Marco Rubio and many notables was on, they were on this commission on the state of black boys and men in 2022. And I read that report, and it said that black men and boys face obstacles in every social institution. Didn't say some. Said every. Mm-hmm. Every. Wow. And it doesn't diminish the roles of our men, our women, our mothers, grandmothers, our wives, our sisters, nieces, aunts. We're a matriarchal community. Big Mama and Mama always took care of us. Always. But it wasn't absent the men. Now many avenues and institutions are not only absent black men, they're pushing black men out. I did my own independent study these last 4 years of every institution that came before the city council for budget or for money that presented. 80 to 85% of each institution did not have a black man at the table. Wow. Now, that may not bother some people, but I'm going to say this. Say it. How can our community be whole with half? You can't be whole with half. And people are not paying attention to this. But when 85% of every institution that runs this community that came before our legislative body did not have a black man at the table. And it doesn't mean you get rid of the people who are at the table, right. But why don't we have a place anymore? Why has it gotten so bad? Why did it have to go from male domination to black male elimination? Right. Surely we could have settled somewhere in the middle. Right. And then, of course, two prominent black men just got their butts kicked in an election.
Right. Wow. Once again, if you want to be a part of this conversation that's very heavy, please dial in and phone in at 504-582-9422. Wow. That's deep, Brother Thomas.
Well, it's true. It's factual. So and for those wonderful women out there who do all they get, you got sons and nephews and grandfathers and husbands and dads. Do you want to see a world that doesn't have a place or space for them?
Right. So, Brother Thomas, how is Oliver Thomas involved in the local community? Outside of your position, but how are you involved in the local community?
I was always proud of my affiliation with Peacekeepers and Beef Mediators. I've done several successful mediations where we've gotten people at the table. That work with Brother Roosevelt and Patrick X and Cal, Pep, and others. The work with Peacekeepers with Ronald Coleman and Al Mims, I've always enjoyed. Mentoring. I won the Jefferson Award for mentoring years ago for kids who were failing and who graduated, topped in their class. I like doing that. I like helping young folk that people trying to dismiss, because that was me and my crew. Oh, yeah. Or saying what they can't be. No, you saying what they can't be, but that don't mean they ain't gonna be.
Right.
And it's always so easy to dismiss. And in many cases, those are some of the most special kids who accomplish. And 90% of those kids we deal with are many of them grown men. Oh, yeah. They're doing wonderful now. We're the only community where we blame the group for what happens with a few. Right. Them and y'all and they. Right. We're the only community. I made a mistake politically where people would take my mistake and use it to cast on everybody,
Right.
on every black official. They didn't do that with the president.
True.
Oliver North,
Oh, yeah.
Iran Contra.
Yeah.
They didn't do H.R. Haldeman. They didn't do that with an entire community. They just said them, that person.
Right. And I smile now because one of the reasons I sit in this seat and have done the things that I've done
Mhm.
and continue to move forward is because of them or they who used to tell me what I
Couldn't do.
what I wouldn't do.
It's motivation.
And I was always that person to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to show you.
I try to help haters, but haters do have a role.
Yeah.
Haters help to develop motivators. And there's some people, man, that their only existence is to tear other people down.
Right.
And the problem with that is, man, do you know that's extra time you could be working on building yours and you and yours up? So you've taken away from your own journey to go into somebody else's life to continue to tear them down.
Oh, yeah.
And why?
Oh, yeah. Hey, you know, I've always been in hip hop and rap, but you know, I like Lil Boosie, Torrance Hatch,
Uh-huh.
and one of my favorite songs by him is "You Don't Know My Struggle."
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't know my struggle. You don't know what I done been through.
Right.
And I think if each and every person who was a fan of his, if you just listen to that and really let it sink in and really show people
Yeah.
that, hey, you don't know my struggle. You don't know what I done been through to get to where I'm at.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the world would be
Yeah.
such a better place. In the words of Louis Armstrong,
Right.
what a wonderful world.
Yeah, I took a Juvenile High rap and made it a graduation speech
Okay.
1 year. And everywhere there was something that could be negative. I said, we came from the projects and y'all thought we wouldn't make it, huh? But look at us, we graduating now, huh?
Huh.
You're labeled and stereotyped as poor little black boys, huh? But look at us now, we're getting our degree, huh? So I've always, so if you think about it, man, we're the greatest survivors in the world.
Right.
But we don't celebrate how special we are because we made it through. And, you know, I've done time with people who, and I tell them all the time, man, hey, man, the fact that you survived being in prison and incarcerated, where many lost their minds.
Right.
Many didn't get reformed.
Right.
Many succumbed to the environment behind the wall, which is real. And if you made it, you need to celebrate how special you are. Because everybody, I'm going to say this may sound crazy to some folk, everybody can't get that level of life's training.
Oh, yeah.
They can't get them degrees.
Right.
But when you got a doctorate in survival, you're special.
Very. All right, so we're going to dive into the community calendar right quick. New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce hosted First Friday this past Friday on the 5th of December at the original Classic Corner Bar and Grill. Nice spot. Please go check them out. Please go patronize them. And on Wednesday, December 17th, 2025, from 5 to 8 p.m., the New Orleans Regional Black Chamber of Commerce will host Holiday on the Boulevard at the Dewdrop Inn. So please, ma'am, please, sir, please come through at the Dewdrop Inn and come check us out. This is our end of the year event where we will be having membership mixes. Our members will be there. So come and patronize and network with the members and also show support to the Dewdrop Inn. Also, for our members, we will be having a buy one, get one free for the Alicia Keys musical Hell's Kitchen at the Sanger Theater, which will be on December the 30th through January the 4th. So please contact yours truly at norbcc.chairman2025@gmail.com to get that information. Or you can contact me at 343-1138. Brother Thomas, how does it feel to be an icon?
Oh Lord. Oh man, I don't know. I've never thought about that. I know there are iconic figures in my life. I am my late brother, Ronaldo Naughty, Big Naughty. Who was a great athlete, smart guy, had an interest in street life too, very smart. I never forget he said something when he turned the corner to the challenges in his life.
Right.
And folk who know my brother was something else, right? Good dude, but he took more of another route than I did. I never forget he came in the house one day after he had decided to leave the streets, leave certain things alone. And he told my dad this, man. We used to have conversations with men, right?
Right.
And he told my dad, he said, Daddy, he said, he said, I think, which was, he said, I think the devil missed me.
Mm.
And I wish I could apologize to everybody I ever hurt.
Wow.
So I understand it then. I didn't live the life he led. I was more of a schoolboy, played ball, right?
Right.
But I've been through some stuff since then, and I remember some stuff I've been through as a kid. I don't know how much of an icon I am, but I wish I could apologize to everybody I've ever heard or thank all of the iconic figures who invested in me and who thought more of me than I thought of myself.
Okay. So what does Christmas and the upcoming New Year's
broke? It means I got to start looking at savings accounts and kids and my grandkids. Leah's two kids, KJ and Sage, are wonderful, man. And we are very involved in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I'm going to wait, Brother Smith, good question. I don't think I'm going to wait. I usually wait till the last minute to do my stuff. But I think I'm really been thinking earlier about what they want and planning and how I can save and how I can provide, Okay. Yeah.
So what can you tell the listening audience as we go into the new year and as we approach Christmas holiday and all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell the listening audience as we close the show? What are some last words from my friend, Councilman Oliver Thomas?
First of all, thank the Regional Black Chamber. You're important. We are losing ground economically. We can celebrate our culture and our traditions all we want. We can celebrate elected leadership all we want. But black people, the indigenous people in this town, need to be able to participate economically. We cannot continue to push black men and boys out of the nation's economy, out of social institutions and places. In the black family, we need to celebrate. In 1968, almost 70% of every black household had a sound family unit. Today, it's only 35%. Why aren't we talking about the black family? Why are we just promoting individuals? Black family saved my life, along with a few individuals. But family means something. And for folk during this holiday season, celebrate your loved ones. It can be a sad time. I think about my late son, my brother, my two sisters, my mom and dad. But my sister and I made a pact that we were going to get through holidays and special times that used to be difficult by enjoying the best of what we remember about them. And have a happy holiday. God bless everybody.
All right. Thank y'all. See y'all next week on Black to Business.
Thank you.